We're going on a haunted hike. There is a graveyard way back in these woods where early pioneers are buried. The graves are from like the 1920s. Look at this. We're going. I'm telling you guys, it's crazy. It's like, why? Why is it so far back here? Like, what? I mean, anybody know what kind of mushrooms these are? Oh. See what they look like. See what the bottom looks like here. I've got a stick. That's what the bottom underneath it looks like. So it's got gills. And I think as like a general kind of rule is to stay away from white gills. If you don't know what you're looking for, I think there's some that you can. But I could be also wrong on that. So if somebody knows what that is, let us know. A weird history.
It's got a similar history as the Cave Cove, it's just less known.
But it does still have those gills. So I don't know.
It's a milk mushroom.
We ain't got no signal. So can you drink them?
Usually when you cut it?
Yeah. What do you use that for?
I have no idea, I just know it's a milk mushroom. I never got a chance to like. If I can get it to sting, bite at you, I'll show you.
No. Turkey tail? That's a turkey tail. Is that a turkey tail? We made it. So would you say it was 4/10 of a mile?
Yeah.
Back here in these woods. Ew, and look at that. Look at that sunk down right there. And that one.
Final resting place for some of the families that lived along this ridge and the hollows on each side. This is the cemetery, has marked burials from 1907 until 1926. Maston Hutchinson, the subject of many local legends, is buried here along with his wife and some of his descendants. Right here.
Of what?
Stones right there.
Oh. Black rocks.
The reason why it's like sunk in is the coffin rotted and the dirt pressed in. The same thing happened to my grandmother.
What year is that one?
This is 28. This is Rachel Bronham.
1928.
1859 to 1928.
Like they're all sunk in. Oh, I just seen something across the camera. I'm not calling them out. You're cray cray. I'm gonna try to catch something on camera though. I'm going to snap a few pictures too, see if anything shows up in those. Look at this mushroom. What is this? Oh, I wish I knew what that was. Does anybody know?
We were taking that. I'm almost positive that is a tripping mushroom.
No.
I'm almost positive.
Total, we're out here like Blair Witch Project. We're out here I mean, there are all kinds of mushrooms growing out here though.
It's a species that is used for that. All right.
The ghost house. The root cellar, cistern, and well casing are all that remain of the home site of Maston Hutchinson's grandson, George Jones. This is one of the houses connected to the local ghost stories. The nearby Hutchinson family home was also believed to be haunted. Please do not disturb or dig around the house site. It is illegal to remove artifacts. I wonder if we're gonna see if I can catch any ghosts on camera. I wonder what, like, okay, so that's something right here. So then the rest would have to be trails around. Here we are at dusk. Does this, I don't know if I'm gonna go further back in here or not. Like, I mean, that's kind of, okay, that's oh no, yeah, that's, is that the cistern, or what did it say was left of it?
The cistern and the root cellar. So one of these is root cellar and the other is a cistern.
Oh, that's like, oh, that's creepy. That is so creepy. Oh my goodness.
This is the shitty.
Ah!
And another thing is, notice, like, this is the site, but nature is trying to bury this. Like, see all these trees that fell down around it?
Yeah.
That's nature trying to get rid of something for some reason.
You think?
Well, yeah.
You're freaking me out.
You need to read up on this Hutchison guy.
When have you read up on him?
I know a lot of
Okay, guys, so let me tell you all about our Big Ridge adventure because, in case you don't know, there is like some shady stuff that has just gone around in this area back to the early 1800s. This was really the first area settled west of the Appalachians. So a lot of the pioneers, they go back to the early 1800s. The grist mill was built in 1825. And so the actual, one of the trails is what people would load their corn in and come down off the mountain on and get their corn grilled up. And the fact that somebody lived like on top of these mountains was just crazy to me. So after we did our haunted trail, that cemetery, I think everybody was either buried in the 1920s and 30s in there. They were all from the 1800s into the early 1900s. Now the house that we went further back to, I haven't gone into too much folklore about the man, but my husband said, just kind of growing up in this area, that, lore, legend was that he wasn't a very good man, that he was just a bad guy. And it's said to be haunted by his adult daughter that died of tuberculosis. So, and then down at the grist mill, kind of where we were, there was a man who hung his daughter because he thought she was a witch. So there's just some crazy stuff that's gone on. Actually, further on up onto the I think it's Indian Rock Trail, there was a young man, I think he was 19, and he was actually turkey hunting and said to be scalped by Indians and found there. So there's a spot for that. And just really aside from kind of the town history, there's a lot of shady stuff that kind of went on when they built Norris Dam and Norris Lake. They had they actually flooded a town. It was called Loyston. So Loyston Point on Norris Lake actually used to be a little town with a post office and a gas station and all that, and it's under Norris Lake now, and they displaced, the residents there. And more importantly, they dug up Indian mounds before they flooded Norris Lake. There were skeletons, I want to say hundreds of skeletons there. Now they say they were all under 6 feet, but there was also some stone work found there as well that actually triggered the thoughts of being Egyptian in nature. And so, we kind of see some of this stuff throughout the United States and in Tennessee. So it's just interesting. So they dug up all these ancient ruins and mounds and then flooded the lake. So there can be some creepy energy there. So after we hiked this haunted trail, about 5:30 in the morning, my husband and I were in the tent with our dog. We've got a little Chiweenie dog, and my dog was growling, just real loud, and it woke me up. And I was like, what is it, And then he let out a bigger bark, which woke my husband up. My husband shines the flashlight so we can see what our dog is barking at. And it looked to me like a black wolf. Okay, this thing was huge. I didn't get a shot of it at first. When my husband first shined the light, all I saw was black. And I was like, oh my God, is that a black bear? And he was like, no. So then he shines the light again, and it had moved to this side of the tent, and it was just kind of like staring at us. And it was like a black wolf dog or something. So the thing is, we don't have wolves in East Tennessee. We have coyote, and there are black coyote, but they're rare. So some time goes by. We'd kind of doze back off. We were able to scare it off, shoo it off. And so as some time goes by, it's probably about 40 minutes, I had to go to the bathroom. And so I thought to myself, that's been a long enough time. I think it's gone. So we get out, and I asked my husband. My husband goes to the car to get the gun. He was like, well, let me get the gun, okay? So then he comes back, and me and my dog get out of the tent, and my husband goes like back to the car for something, and I turn, and right there beside us, that freaking thing is again. It was like, oh my God, So my husband's standing there with his gun going, I don't want to shoot this thing. I don't want to have to shoot this thing. And actually ended up throwing a pocket knife, a closed pocket knife at it, hitting it in the side, and ran it off. But it was like, what was this? To me, I was thinking, man, this thing is a shape shifter or something. You know how the legends are about that stuff? Because that's what I'm thinking, because it was huge. You guys, I swear, if that thing stood up, it would have been 6 feet tall. It would have been 6 feet tall. It was huge. And it did have one of those fluffy tails like a coyote or a wolf would have. But it seemed like it maybe would have had to have some kind of domesticated nature to it for it not to attack us. I don't know. It was crazy. So last night, I got to kind of researching a little more into the lore and stuff of the area, and there is a dog that haunts that place. It didn't give, I can't find a description of the dog, but there is a dog that haunts that place. And so I called the park back today and asked them if they had any reports of a black coyote. And she said that it was a German Shepherd mix. And yes, they were aware of it and were trying to catch it. And I was like, well, lady, I said, that is a big German Shepherd, if that's what it was. So I don't know. It's like, did we see the ghost dog? I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but it was kind of, fun, I guess, too. Like I said, it's just there's a lot of shady stuff that kind of went on in that area, when you get to looking into it and stuff. And I'm wanting to know a little more about the earlier pioneers. We were checking out some of the graves, and, we've been lied to about so much stuff, guys. It's like how they say, oh, modern medicine, you couldn't live without it. People died back in those days. But yet, you see gravestones where people lived to be 80 and 90 years old. So, it's strange. There were some young graves, but yet there's young graves today. So it kind of just makes me wonder if we've been told the truth, about that stuff. So, but yeah, they've got three cemeteries up there, and the one on Ghost Trail, just how far back it is kind of crazy. And so we got to see two. So the next time we go camping, we'll go see the third. And we didn't make it to Indian Rock because there are a lot of fallen trees through there, guys. Hence, that's probably why there were so many mushrooms back through there, is because there were a lot of fallen trees, and there were several trees that had fallen and blocked the Indian Rock Trail. So they really are going to have to get that cleared out. It was just too much to try to get through. So maybe next time we go, we can go a little further on up and check out the Indian Rock, and it's called Sharps Station, which had one of the first fort built over west of Appalachia. The second was James White Fort, which is in Knoxville. So there's like some stone remains of that, but that's about it. So yeah, there's just a lot of interesting history and folklore. It was a really fun place to go camping, so check it out.